Hello everybody, I'm your host with the most, Ghostzilla, and on today's review, we'll be taking a look at another Robot Spirits figure. Here we have the MSM07S Zagog Chars Custom Model Anime version, obviously of course from the show. As you can see, here's the box, it looks pretty nice. I've had this figure for a while and I gotta say it's my absolute favorite, as well as my favorite mobile suit. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. On the side, here's Zagog in a neutral pose. Then on the back, here we have him attacking a Gym Gundam, as they're called in the show. As you can see, that's actually an effect part, by the way, if you have a Gym Gundam. But yeah, so here on the back, we can see his arms and what they're capable of. Very nice ab crunch, and overall, yeah. Then on the right side here on the top, we can see Zagog with all his accessories and what they do. So here, as you can see, he is having his claw go through a gym. There is one of his, I don't know what they're called, but there's one of his beam effects for when he shoots from his claws. Then we have a spark effect for when his arm is cut off from the, I forgot which episode, but when Amuro cuts the Zagog's arm off. Then here we have the jet boost effects. Then of course here we have a 4-clawed hand. Now this is actually a reference to the animation era. I forgot which episode, but I believe it was 25 or something like that. There was one scene where he had 4 claws instead of 3, which is a pretty unique detail. And you can have it as a upgrade or just a reference to the animation era. Regardless, without further ado, let's take a look at the figure itself. Alright, and here he is, Zagog. And my first impressions of this figure, I gotta say he looks really, really cool. Just the look of him, I'd say he looks pretty unique. He's gonna be standing, I want to say somewhere around, somewhere almost close to 5, I want to say 5.5 inches tall, somewhere around there. So he's going to be somewhat a bit taller than Zaku, but for the most part, he's going to be a little bit tinier. So let's just take a look at some articulation. Here what we can do, we can pop this off, as you can see. Similar to Zaku, we can move the eye, but it's more different. Rather than being painted on, you have to move the eyepiece, which, as you can see, can do that. There you go, he's looking to the right. So let's do some articulation. So he can go up somewhat, not all the way to where he can look high up. He can crunch back really far down. Next are his arms, so they can go about a pretty good 45 degrees. His arm can turn as well. Another cool thing too is if you don't want to pull the arm too much, but if you just pull about slightly, you can extend his arm. You can do a bicep crunch, or I don't know what you call this, but I guess elbow crunch, something like that. We have his claws, which can turn 360. And there's a little peg here for one of the accessories, which we'll take a look at later, down to his leg. His leg articulation is a bit weird. Like, you can't pull it down like the Zaku. What you can do is you can go back and forth like this. So it only like goes back and forth. So his leg can go far this much, backwards this much. Then we have a bend at the knees. Really, just wow, a huge bend at the knees. That's pretty cool. His feet can tilt. Well, the foot is actually made up of 2 parts. So the second foot piece can tilt, swivel, and go a little bit up somewhat. It kind of like, it's like not floating, but is kind of its own piece. And then of course you can pull the foot down like that, kind of, sort of. That's about it for articulation. I'd say it's pretty, the engineering for the articulation on this figure is pretty nice. Weird thing about it is the legs. because like I would assume since it's Tamashii Nation, like they would have the legs go down. It's not a big deal. As long as the figure moves, that's all I care about. Articulation, I would give it probably... I'd probably give it about 8.5 out of 10. Pretty decent, you know, but not super articulated, because of course you still want to be careful regardless. Articulation is great. Now let's take a look at accessories. All right, now let's take a look at his sweet, delicious accessories. I apologize if I said it like that. Anyways, so here we have his plasma beams, or plasma bolts, I don't know what you want to call them, but these look amazing. Just the sculpting and including the smoke effect part at the end of the beam, or plasma rifles. I don't know what you call them. Let me know in the comments what these are called exactly, but I just call them plasma bolts because they look like it. Honestly, they did not have to add this, but the fact that they did, just overall, I think this looks great, especially when you're doing some photography, you know, because it reminds me of like a gun, you know, when it smokes, when steam comes out after a shot is fired, you know, like that in a way. It just looks so cool, the blast effect. Next, here we have his alternate eyepiece. Now this is specifically for if you want to display him, because I know sometimes people are afraid to lose tiny parts, so if you want, you can just have his eye look straight forward. Here we have his 4-fingered claws. Again, these are the animation error claws, or you can have them as an upgraded claws, whatever you want to do with these, but they look fantastic. Also are capable of having these attached to the claws. There we go. Yeah, looks fantastic. Next, here we have both the alternative part to use the gym. So of course what you want to do is, and you have to get the gym mobile suit, otherwise this won't work, unless you want to make him look like he's crawling through a building. I don't know, whatever you want to do, but essentially you attach it to the back of the gym and this to the front, so that way it looks like he's just clawing through the gym, which is actually a really nice effect part to have. Then here we have his little oh wait, this is actually the arm that's torn off. What you want to do is you want to just attach this to the spark, and then there you go, just like that. It's not in there all the way, but this is what it's supposed to look like. And then finally, here we have his jet booster effects. I like the parts where they look all fiery. It transitions from a hot white to a orange fire in a way. It just looks cool. The transitioning and the painting looks cool. Of course, just like with the Zaku, you can attach it to its feet or to its jetpacks. Overall, pretty nice accessories. All right, now let's do some size comparisons. So on the left, here we have Zaku, and then on the right, there's Gundam, and surprisingly, Gundam scales with these guys pretty well. And mind you, this is a entry grade model kit that I recently built last night, because long story short, I built it and I was going to build it the next day, but then I thought, well, screw it, I might as well pull all-nighter. And yeah, I was shocked, because I thought this Gundam was going to be really small, but no, I mean, he scales pretty well for an entry grade. But yeah, overall, this is some really good scaling, and they honestly, just these two right here with Zagog, they look great together regardless. Next up, here we have the RX-93 Gundam, and straight up, he just towers over both of them. Like, he makes Zagog and 78 Gundam look tiny. And of course, fun fact, if you have followed me on Instagram, this is my first Gunpla I ever built, so which makes this my second Gunpla. And then finally, for Schmitz and Shiggles, here we have the SH Figuarts Ultraman Jack, and he slightly, once again, towers over them. However, he's almost about the same height as Gundam's shield. So honestly, regardless, a very good size comparison. Again, just a little taller, but somewhere near the same height. Alright, and that's about going to do it for the review. I hope you all enjoyed, and let me know what you think of this figure. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me know in the comments below if you have this figure. So ultimately, I'd say this figure is pretty solid. especially as a Zagog. In total, I would probably give this figure a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. It's got some great articulation, even though the leg articulation is a bit weird. Sculpt and painting is great too. Just overall, the figure looks awesome. Share your thoughts with me on what you think of this figure. Should you pick it up? And if you want to pick it up, I probably don't want to say Amazon, because the listing that I got was because they sold me a model kit. So your best option to get this figure is probably on eBay or some Japanese website. I'm not too sure, but regardless, it's a great figure. I highly recommend you pick it up. But anyways, that's about to do it for today. I'm your host with the most, and have a wonderful day or night or afternoon, whatever it is. Have a great day.